A couple of weeks ago, a major Japanese Splat Zones only tournament called Area Cup 9th was held. Of the 8 top teams in Area Cup, 5 of them had a Snipewriter player. Snipewriter has been dominating in competitive Splatoon for a while now, and its presence has definitely not gone unnoticed in the West either, with teams like Jackpot and Starburst having adopted the pencil weapon into their team compositions. So what's so strong about this weapon? Have you or a friend ever thought about trying to pick up this meta weapon for yourselves? Well, you've come to the right place. Hello everyone, my name is Ladias, and welcome to part 1 of a multi-part guide series on the Snipewriter 5H. This video will focus primarily on the weapons kit and why you should play Snipewriter 5H, with the second on gear abilities to be released at a later date. Without further ado, let's get into it! The Snipewriter is pretty long-ranged, even compared to other chargers, with it sharing the same range as Splatterscope, outranging Splatcharger, and only being bested in this regard by the E-leaders. However, Snipewriter does take longer to fully charge than Splatterscope, being 72 frames, or 1.2 seconds to fully charge compared to the Splatterscope and Splatcharger's 60, a second exactly. Like every other weapon in the Charger class except Swiffer, Snipewriter also takes longer to fully charge whilst in the air, with the charge rate for Snipewriter being 33.3% of its usual time whilst in the air. It also has this lowered charge rate of 33.3% whilst charging on an empty tank. You can get a maximum of 2 full charges on a full tank, with ink consumption for a full charge being 35%. Minimum charge on Snipewriter deals 40 damage and lacks the full range of the fully charged shot, gaining more range and damage until fully charged. Once you have a full charge, unlike all the other charges and being the main gimmick of Snipewriter, you get 5 fully charged shots, of which deal a maximum of 68 damage each, and paint a lot better in comparison to the other weapons in the same class. Once you've splattered everyone using all 5 of your charge shots, you can begin charging another shot again. You can also cancel a full charge by using your sub or special weapon, or reverting to squid form, regaining the ink you would have lost from firing all of your remaining shots instantly. The fully charged shot has a similar hitbox to Bamboozler, which is bigger than the other charges, making it easier to hit opponents. Also similar to Bamboozler is that, despite the weapon being unscoped, the Snipewriter cannot store a charge. To make up for this, you have a much faster run speed and greater jumping capabilities whilst having a full charge, allowing you to still reposition whilst continuing to fire. One final thing regarding the Snipewriter is that your shots cannot pierce enemies, meaning your teammates can accidentally body block you, and you won't be able to get your shots off on the enemies, so be careful. When compared with other charger main weapons, Snipewriter doesn't really sound that great, does it? Snipewriter sacrifices charge time compared to a weapon with the same range in exchange for more shots per charge, which cannot splat players in one shot unlike most of the other weapons in the Charger class. It also cannot hold a charge, so if you're being pressured by the opponent, you're still forced to give up your shots to move out of danger. So why is Snipewriter currently the most used charger, and one of the most used weapons for that matter? Let's take a look at the kit of the Snipewriter 5H. As of version 6.1.0 when I'm recording this video, Snipewriter 5H currently requires 200 points for its special, in this case for the Tacticooler. Upon throwing out a Tacticooler, the special will remain on the field for 15 seconds before despawning. In this time, both yourself and your teammates can grab a total of 1 drink each from that specific Tacticooler. These drinks provide that player bonuses in Swim Speed, Run Speed, Ink Resistance, Intensify Action, Special Saber, Quick Super Jump, and Quick Respawn. The last ability always applying even if an enemy was splattered on that life. Tacticooler provides 29 ability points of Swim Speed and Run Speed up, which is equivalent to 2 mains and 3 subs of each ability, and 57 ability points for the other abilities mentioned. For context, this is how much of an ability you need to invest in for 57 ability points. Players must stand near a Tacticooler to grab a drink. Swimming past it will not give you the drink bonuses. Upon grabbing a drink, those abilities will be granted for a minimum of 17 seconds or until the player is splattered. It's possible to extend the duration of the bonuses granted by Tacticooler by running special power-up on a gear build. I'll talk more about the effects of gear abilities on Snipewriter 5H in a future video. Tacticooler is a special that makes the most impact the more your team is able to use the benefits to their advantage. Before placing their Tacticooler, it's best to consider the following. Is your team about to engage the enemy? If they are, Tacticooler will provide them bonuses to outmaneuver their opponents thanks to the movement speed and intensify action buffs, helping them win the team fight. If they do get picked off by the enemy, they can instantly get back to the fight with the quick respawn bonus that is provided by the Tacticooler, and with 100% of the special that they had before getting splattered thanks to the special saver effects. This helps to keep a push going if your team is advancing, or help defend without losing much ground over a risky play that didn't work out. In general, a sign as to whether a play will work out or not is to look at how many teammates are available to grab a drink from the Tacticooler. Pushes are most likely to succeed the more players with their specials available are up on your side compared to the opponent. If your teammates failed a push but had Tacticooler upon doing so, then they will instantly be back to defend, and most likely with their specials. But if they didn't have a drink and you throw out a Tacticooler at a player disadvantage, this can be a detriment, especially when your team is forced back away from the location of the Tacticooler and unable to grab a drink from it once they do finally respawn. Therefore, the last question to ask yourself before using the Tacticooler is, can you put the Tacticooler in a place where your teammates can easily reach it? The Tacticooler should be in a place where your teammates can easily reach it without having to go too far back from the front lines and forfeiting the team's map control, but also won't get them splattered if they do try to go for the Tacticooler drinks. General best practices for Tacticooler placement is to place it on the objective's path near to where your teammates are advancing. For more details on this, I recommend checking out Puma's video on Tacticooler placement, which will be linked in the description below, along with other useful resources used for this video. Tacticooler cannot be broken by ink, only being broken if colliding with an object, such as if the Tacticooler is thrown in the path of the advancing tower on tower control. Speaking of tower control, you can place the Tacticooler on the tower to help protect yourself from enemy fire while your team is on the advance. However, the Tacticooler will despawn twice as fast as normal when placed on the tower, giving yourself and your teammates 7.5 seconds to grab a drink from it, so keep that in mind. Tacticooler can even block specials like Reef Slider and Power Clam throws too. One final point of note regarding the Tacticooler is that there exists a 10-second cooldown time before you can start gaining points towards another Tacticooler. Therefore, another useful tip for ranked players is to place your Tacticooler when your team is able to advance the Rainmaker, then picking it up for yourself. As you cannot charge your special in that time, nor can you charge your special whilst holding the Rainmaker, this makes you the best candidate to play objective. This lets your more damage per second heavy teammates advance easier than you could and still gain their own specials while taking advantage of the Tacticooler buffs. This is a sprinkler. Much like the one you probably have in your garden, but with the difference of it producing ink instead of water. This sub-weapon costs 60% of your tank to use, and has 4 phases. The first where it is thrown out, and 3 where it gradually fires less frequently, from 4 frames to 6 frames to 10 frames, producing less ink and slowing down in its rotation. A sprinkler can be removed from the field in one of a few ways, either by throwing out a new sprinkler, or having an enemy splat either the sprinkler or yourself. Sprinkler is easily splatted, with it having 120 HP, and damage against it being increased by players wearing Object Shredder. For that reason, you will mostly throw the sprinkler out in areas you won't be focusing with your main weapon, to help generate your Tacticooler faster. However, you can also use it to help cover more of an area you'd like to control, such as placing it on the bottom of the ramen bowl on Robo Ramen, and on the pole on Mincemeat Metalworks to help paint the zone in your favour. Sprinkler in these positions paint a large portion of the zone, so leaving the sprinkler active makes it difficult for the enemy to claim the zone. These positions are also extremely difficult for your opponents to reach, which forces them to go out of their way if they want to splat the sprinkler, and leaves them vulnerable for your team to easily splat them. Bagel highlights this point well in their tweet, showcasing another nice spot for passive special charging with Sprinkler on Inkbot Art Academy. Other good spots for Sprinkler and zones include on Hagglefish Market, where you can throw it on top of one of the pillars either side of the zone, while you paint the other side with your main weapon. There's also the pole in the center of the zone here, and on Wahoo World, where Sprinkler has great coverage of the zone. Sprinkler has other niche use cases, my favorite being to pop the Rainmaker shield by placing it on the Rainmaker just as it resets its shield. This sprinkler spot is near impossible for enemies to break once the Rainmaker shield has formed, and the sprinkler does large amounts of damage to the Rainmaker shield. You can also use the sprinkler as a pseudo burst bomb to traverse walls easier. And, if you're very lucky, you can use it to defend yourself and splat your opponents whilst jumping out. Tacticaler is the most meta-defining special in the game at this point in time, and it's not difficult to understand why once hearing about all the bonuses it gives. Most importantly, the quick respawn and special saver bonuses, which as stated earlier make it difficult for teams to fully wipe an opponent and get a strong advance going, as players respawn almost instantly with all of their special from before they were splattered. Teams without a Tacticaler are often on the back foot, as they cannot keep up with the pace at which the enemy can come back to advance or defend from their current position. What makes Snipewriter 5H one of the best weapons currently is how fast it can generate Tacticaler. The main weapon, once fully charged, paints extremely well in bursts, which can be difficult for any other weapon to contest, especially when considering that a sprinkler is most likely helping to ink areas at the same time and passively generate charge towards the Snipewriter player's special. Other Tacticaler weapons which see high-level play currently include the Heavy Edit Splatling, NZAP 85, and Tri-Slosher Nouveau. In the 6.1.0 patch that was released halfway through recording this video, these weapons got a points for special nerf, with these weapons now having the same 200 points for special as Snipewriter 5H, except for Tri-Slosher, which requires 210 points. Even before the aforementioned patch, and requiring more turf inked for special than those other weapons, Snipewriter already saw great usage due to it being able to contribute to matches by painting in large amounts at a time, making it easy to generate special even with a high point requirement, and also provide chip damage without having to engage the enemy thanks to the weapon's great range. Snipewriter stays alive far more easily compared to other Tacticaler weapons because of this, and provides a useful jump point for teammates who will be frequently respawning and wanting a safe position to return to the fight. In addition, Snipewriter is far less gear dependent. Tacticaler buffs its already great run speed, and Snipewriter can easily jump away from harm with the quick super jump bonuses. The other Tacticaler weapons, as they will be splattered more throughout a match, need to include movement speed, ink resistance up, and intensify action to perform better on the front lines, as well as two other main gear abilities in stealth jump and either last ditch effort or comeback. We'll cover this point more in the next video. The 68 damage chip from a fully charged shot of the Snipewriter combos with most bombs and weapons extremely well. A great example of this is the 36 base damage from the splatter shot, another popular meta weapon. This means that one shot on an enemy from a Snipewriter in teamfights is oftentimes more than enough to splat them. These factors combined make Snipewriter so good at enabling a style of gameplay too fast for most weapons to handle, which is why it stands at the top over the other charges, other Tacticaler weapons, and every other weapon in the game. Thank you so much for watching part 1 of the Snipewriter guide. I know this is a bit different from what I've usually done on my channel, which is just upload gameplay footage that I think is cool. So if you liked this different style of content, please let me know by liking and even subscribing if you would like. I would really appreciate it. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Goodbye!